This conference will now be recorded.
Now, please note down the first problem. Find the Fourier transform. FT there. FT. I think can you see the screen? Jamboard, please post it in the chat box. Can all of you see the screen? Please post it in the chat box. Yeah, right. Now, first question. Note down. Find the Fourier transform of a DC signal. Now, first try to understand DC. What do you mean by DC signal? So when I say DC signal, which you can represent the waveform for a DC signal is like this. If I have a signal like this with certain amplitude throughout, let us say the amplitude of this is A. This signal I can call it as DC signal. So for a DC signal, the signal is existing from -infinity to +infinity with a uniform amplitude. Such a signal which you can call it as DC signal. Now I'm assuming that the signal, the DC signal which is existing here is having an amplitude of capital A. Capital A is the amplitude of the DC signal, and now I want to find the Fourier transform of this DC signal. Now see how I'm going to find the amplitude of this DC signal. Now first you need to write the mathematical equation for this x of t. When you write the mathematical expression for x of t, you can write x of t, which is equal to capital A, since the amplitude is capital A, and it is existing from -infinity less than or equal to t less than or equal to infinity. This is what the limits for x of t. Now, here you should understand an important point. Whenever you are going to apply Fourier transform to any given signal, first you need to check whether the given function or the signal will satisfy the properties of the Dirichlet properties given by the Dirichlet or not. Or if it is not satisfying that condition, then we need to think how you can solve it. So in this example, you will understand whether the convergence of this signal exists or not. Now, if you observe this, the condition for the Fourier transform to exist, it should satisfy that integral over the limits -infinity to +infinity modulus of x of t dt should be less than infinity. This is the condition it has to satisfy. That means when you take the limits over the given function, its value should be less than infinity. Then the Fourier transform of the given signal will exist and it will converge. So first, let us see for the given problem whether it is existing, whether for the given problem whether it is satisfying that or not. So since for this here our x of t is a, I can write integral -infinity to +infinity a dt. Now if you solve it, what will happen? Since a is constant, you can take outside, and when you do the integration with respect to t, you can write -infinity to +infinity dt. This you can write a into infinity minus of -infinity. So from this you will get 2a into infinity. Please try to understand. So that means the given function x of t is having a value which is infinity, So which is not satisfying this condition. Hence what? Hence you can say that it is the given function x of t. This x of t is not an absolute integrable. Please try to understand. This is not satisfying this condition. Hence, you can say this, the given problem is not absolutely integrable. So when you integrate it, you'll get finite value. But what you'll get infinite value. So hence you can say that the given signal is not satisfying the condition of that is not satisfying the condition given by the Dirichlet. So for this signal, we'll check whether the Fourier transform will exist or not. Now, please try to understand. I'll repeat it once again. First, what you have to do is, first you have to for a DC signal, you need to plot the waveform for the DC signal. When I say DC signal, the DC signal is, will not changes its amplitude. The amplitude remains constant. I am assuming that the DC signal is having an amplitude of A and it is existing throughout the time. So this is what my DC signal is. So I am going to represent the DC signal by a mathematical equation like this: x of t equal to capital A, and which is existing from minus infinity to plus infinity. Now, for the given problem, you need to identify whether the given signal or the given function will converge or not. Now here, if you apply the condition for the convergence, the first condition is the integral over the limits should be less than infinity, which is an absolute integrable. It should be an absolute integrable. So you check the given signal. When you check the given signal, we find that we'll get 2a into infinity, which means that it is not absolutely integral. And you can also say that this is non-convergent. It is not convergent. So once if it is not convergent, then we'll check whether Fourier transform for this will exist or not. Whenever if this condition is not satisfying, then definitely the Fourier transform won't exist. We'll see whether Fourier transform will exist or not. So we know the formula for Fourier transform of x of t. I'm going to write here the Fourier transform of x of t, which you can write it as x of omega, which is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t into e power minus j2 pi f t dt. Now, in the place of x of t, now I have to write my x of t is capital A. So what I have to do is, I have to write integral minus infinity to plus infinity capital A into e power minus j2 pi f t dt. Now what I have to do is, since A is constant, when you're doing integration with respect to time, you take A outside. And if you write it integral minus infinity to plus infinity e power minus j2 pi f t dt, then if you solve this, you will get exponential one. This you can write it as e power minus j2 pi f t by minus j2 pi f. And if you apply the limits minus infinity to plus infinity, when you apply the limits, what will happen? Let us see. So the moment when you apply the limits, here you will get e power minus infinity. This I can write it. I will take 1 by minus. This I can write minus a by j2 pi f, and this you can write it as e power j omega infinity. This part I am going to write infinity minus e power j omega infinity I'm going to write. Now, just I'm substituting in the place of t. I'm substituting in the place of t this limits I'm applying. Now, if you take this omega here, I can write a by omega and minus and this if I take inside, then I can write e power j omega infinity minus e power minus j omega infinity by j. This you can write it as, observe it, this you can write it as jj gets cancelled. You can write this as, this part you can write it as 2a by omega into sine omega infinity. Now, when you take multiply with the omega, anything multiply with the omega, this I can write it as infinity. I can write it as sine infinity. Can you define this sine infinity? So this sine infinity, which is not defined, you can't define, which is undefined. So now try to understand the moment when you say first, in the first part, I'm going to check whether the given function is absolutely integrable or not, or convergent or not. I observed that here it is not absolutely integrable and it is not convergent. Now try to understand what is the condition it has to satisfy. When you integrate over the limits, that value should be less than infinity. Then you can say that it is convergent. This is the condition for convergence. This is the condition for convergence. So since it is not satisfying this condition, so that the given integration is not absolutely integrable and non-convergent. So for this, the Fourier transform, if you apply, when you solve the Fourier transform for the same function x of t over the limits, and we identify that undefined, so this is also not existing. So which means that x of omega x of omega doesn't exist. X of omega doesn't exist for a DC signal directly. Now, please try to understand. Is it clear up to now? Please post it in the chat box. Is it clear up to now? Please try. Are you facing any difficulty in understanding this, or shall I repeat it once again? Please post it in the chat box, dear students. చెప్పింది అర్థమైందమ్మా లేకపోతే మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి రిపీట్ చేయమంటారా? Please post it in the chat box. Is the concept clear? Please respond. Okay, yes. Now observe it. In this, what we observed, first we started with the condition for convergence, and we identified that the given function is non-convergent and not absolutely integrable. But even though we are checking that whether the Fourier transform of this will exist or not, we are checking. So we observed that the Fourier transform will not exist for this. Then now how to find the Fourier transform of the DC signal? So now I'm going to tell you how we have to find the Fourier transform for this. Right? Now observe it. Now what I have to do is, I'm going to assume this. I'm going to write the Fourier transform of DC signal. That means I am considering now I am considering the DC signal x of t, which is equal to a, which is existing from minus infinity to t less than or equal to t infinity. This we observed. But when you see the condition for the convergence, and we observed that it is giving a value which is infinite, and we applied and we checked whether the Fourier transform will exist or not, and we observed that the Fourier transform will not exist. But for a DC signal, can't we find the Fourier transform? No, we can find Fourier transform even for a DC signal also. We'll see how we can find it. Now, if I am going to take it like this, the Fourier transform of x of t, which is x of omega, I am assuming here the Fourier transform of this x of t, which is x of omega, as a into del of omega. Now, please try to understand why I'm assuming it like this. A into del of omega, I'm assuming. Now, if we assume this del of omega, when you plot impulse function for in frequency domain, if you plot it, you'll have impulse function with an amplitude 1. That means you're going to have a only. So instead of considering x of t as a, now I'm going to consider the Fourier transform of x of t, which is x of omega. I am assuming it as a into del of omega. But del of omega is nothing but an impulse function in frequency domain. Now, what I have to do is, I have to apply the inverse Fourier transform for this first. That means when you apply the inverse Fourier transform, since I know omega, directly I write the formula for inverse Fourier transform here. So I can write f inverse of x of omega, which is nothing but x of t, which you can write integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of omega into e power j omega t d omega. And when I'm doing integration with respect to omega, here I have to write 1 by 2 pi. Please try to understand that. So now what is my x of omega? I am assuming x of omega as a into del of omega. Please substitute that. So I'm going to write that x of omega as a into del of omega. I can write it like this: 1 by 2 pi integral minus infinity to plus infinity a into del of omega into e power j omega t d omega. Now, when you're doing integration with respect to omega, I can treat this a as constant. I'll take that outside. I can write a by 2 pi integral minus infinity to plus infinity del of omega into e power j omega t d omega. Now, please try to understand. Here I will do a small modification. This del of omega, I am going to write it like this: a by 2 pi integral minus infinity to plus infinity. This I am going to write it as del of omega minus 0 into e power j omega t d omega. Now, please be attentive here. Here I am going to have, I'm having a function, I have a function with respect to omega. Here there is one logic that is there. The logic that I have is, just I'm going to write that logic here. Please try to understand. This logic is very important. Suppose if I have a function like this, if I have a function g of t1 into del of t minus t naught. This you can write it as g of t naught into del of t minus t naught. So this is one identity that is there. When you multiply a function g of t1 with an impulse function which is shifted at t naught, will gives you the function that is shifted at t naught that is multiplied with del of t minus t naught. This is what one identity that we have. So here instead of t, I have omega. So I can replace del of omega minus 0. I can write it as here this is my g of t1. So I can replace this. If you substitute this 0 in the place of omega, then I can write this. Then I can write this like this. Now when you substitute it like that, then you will get a by 2 pi integral minus infinity to plus infinity del of omega minus 0, and this exponential, this omega can be replaced with 0. Since you are having a function like this that is replaced, this is nothing but, for your understanding, I'll write here, this is nothing but your g of t1, and this is nothing but your del of t minus t naught. So you observe this. So using this is one important formula which you need to note. So when you multiply a function with an with a function with an impulse function which is shifted by a value t naught, which is same as the function at t naught that is multiplied with the impulse function again. So this is one identity that we have. So from this, I am going to replace this 0 here, and I can write it as, now I can write, using that, I can write this as e power 0 d omega. So this nothing but, e power 0 is nothing but 1. Now del of omega minus 0 I can write as del of omega again. Now you can write this as a by 2 pi integral minus infinity to plus infinity so this is what now if you observe this integral minus infinity to minus into infinity del omega d omega, which is nothing but the area under the curve. Now if you observe that the area under the curve with an impulse function at this is 0, which is an impulse function, and you are going to find the area from minus infinity to infinity. When you are going to find the area from minus infinity to plus infinity, this entire portion you are finding the area, in that 0 is also included, so that the area under the curve should be equal to 1, which you already know. So I can write this integration, I can write it as 1, and directly I can write this as a by 2 pi. A by 2 pi, which means that here I can write this as f inverse of a into del of omega is equal to a by 2 pi. Please try to understand. So you are finding the inverse Fourier transform, that is a into del of omega. Your x of omega is a into del of omega. Here you have calculated the inverse Fourier transform. Please try to understand. This is nothing but IFT, inverse Fourier transform. You applied the formula for inverse Fourier transform and you calculated it. Now, if you take this F inverse to the other side, then it becomes I can write this as A into del of omega, which is equal to, I'm taking this 1 by 2 pi outside, Fourier transform of A. Now, if we take this to the other side, then the Fourier transform of A, here I can write the Fourier transform of A, I can write it as, you take this 2 pi to the other side, then you'll get 2 pi A into del of omega. Please try to understand. That means whatever be the scaling factor we have, that is multiplied here with an impulse function. So, and the Fourier transform of any constant of a DC signal now is Fourier transform of a DC signal. I can write. Now I'll go to the previous slide, and here I can write now. From this I can say, or I can write the Fourier transform, of capital A, which is a DC signal, which is equal to 2 pi A into del of omega. So please try to understand. Here A is the amplitude of the DC signal. Suppose if I ask you to find the Fourier transform of a constant 4. Now tell me, what is the Fourier transform of 4? Please post it in the chat box. Here A is the amplitude of the DC signal, which I represented here. Now I ask you to find what is the Fourier transform of 4. Please post it in the chat box. Please post it in the chat box. What is the Fourier transform of 4? Now, in the place of A, I have now 4. So I can write 2 pi. Please try to understand. I can write 2 pi into 4 into del of omega. So my A is now 4 here. So from this I can say 8 pi del of omega is the Fourier transform of a DC signal with an amplitude 4. Is it clear? Yes, good. Good, Amma, good. Sri Lakshmi, good. Rajeshwari, good. Right. So likewise, you can find the Fourier transform of any DC signal. Please try to understand. I'll repeat it once again. For any given signal, first you need to identify whether the Dirichlet conditions or the conditions are satisfying or not. First you need to check it. In the first part, here in the green portion, first I checked whether the given signal is convergent or not. Whether it is convergent, it has to satisfy this condition. When you take the given function, when you integrate with the given limits, its value should be less than infinity. If it is not satisfying that, or if it is greater than infinity, or it is not satisfying that, then you can say that it is not absolutely integrable and it is non-convergent. So for the non-convergent signal, I'm trying whether the Fourier transform will exist or not. So what I did, I tried to solve the Fourier transform for the given signal, and I tried to solve it. But I observed that I'll get sine infinity, which means that when a signal, since the given function x of t or given signal x of t is non-convergent, so its Fourier transform directly does not exist. So that means don't think that directly, that means I can't find DC Fourier transform of DC signal. It is not like that. There is an alternative method for that. The alternative method is, so here what we did here is, we observed that directly when you do the Fourier x of t, we observed that it is non-convergent and the Fourier transform doesn't exist. So we are taking the Fourier transform of x of t, which is x of omega. That means when I take the Fourier transform of x of t as a, If I write f of a is x of omega, that I am assuming it as a into del of omega. That I am going to assume it as del of omega. So please try to understand why I am writing it as del of omega. Del of omega is nothing but an impulse function in omega domain. When you multiply a constant with an impulse function, you will get the same function. That's the reason I assume it like this. So since it is in omega domain, I can't directly apply the Fourier transform. I can apply inverse Fourier transform. So I can write f inverse of x of omega equal to x of t, and I wrote the formula for inverse Fourier transform. And I solved it like this. And this del of omega, I am going to write it as omega minus 0. Omega minus 0, which is same as del of omega. So here there is one property in impulse function, that is, if I have a function g of t1 and that is multiplied with an impulse function which is shifted by a value t0, which is same as g of t0, that means this, please try to understand here. In this formula, what will happen is this t1 is replaced with this t0. Please try to understand. T1 is replaced with T0, and the function will exist as it is. So that's the reason I'm going to replace this T0 with T1. So here in this function, I have omega. So I can write omega minus 0. And this part, now this 0 is replaced with this omega or T, sorry. Then if you substitute e power 0, which is 1. So del of omega minus 0, again I can write as del of omega. This is nothing but area under the curve. This part of this integration you can find minus infinity to plus infinity, and del of omega is existing only at omega equal to 0. This is omega axis. Please try to understand. This is omega axis, and it is existing only at omega equal to 0. But when you are integrating from minus infinity to plus infinity, 0 is also included in that. Hence, the area under this curve is 1. So we observed that f inverse of a into del of omega. I assume that my x of omega is a into del of omega. So I can write f inverse of a into del of omega is a by 2 pi. Then if you take this 1 by 2 pi to the other side and f inverse to the other side, then it becomes 2 pi a into del of omega. This is what the Fourier transform of a constant or a DC signal. Please try to understand. Is it clear up to now? Please post it in the chat box. Is this example clear to all of you? Yes, right. Is this example clear to all of you? Yes, yes, Sri Lakshmi, good. Now what I'll do is, now I'm going to take another problem. So here, before going to solve this, I think in the last class, we discussed one example. I'm going to solve that also after this. First, I'm going to solve this problem. Now here, in this problem, what I'll do is, I'm going to solve, note down this problem, find the Fourier transform of an exponential signal. Now, when I say exponential signal, what I'll do is, I'm going to consider 3 cases. Please try to understand. When you see this 3 cases, you will understand the difference. Here, I'm going to consider 3 cases for an exponential signal. First, note down. First case is, I'm going to solve first case or case 1. I'm going to consider case 1 is, I'm going to consider x of t as e power minus at u of t a greater than 0. This is the first case. That means, observe it. You may ask, sir, why I need to multiply with u of t? You will understand that. So this is what the representation of an exponential signal, e power minus at into u of t. So this is the first case. So for this first case, first I am going to solve, I'm going to plot the graph, how it looks like. When you plot the graph for this, it looks like this. If you plot on time scale, this is time axis, this is 0. When you take t equal to 0, you will get e power 0, which is 1. It starts with an amplitude of 1 and it falls like this in an exponential manner, and it goes on decreasing. When it becomes infinity, t tends to infinity, e power minus infinity is 0. Almost it is touching to 0. This is what the equation for, or the graph for, e power minus at into u of t. This is how you can plot the exponential graph. Now for this, you need to find the Fourier transform. Now we know the formula for Fourier transform of x of t. Directly I am going to write that now. Now before going to see that, whether it will converge or not. So we'll see that also. When you see this convergence, automatically, when you do this integration also, you can observe that. First, let me check whether the given signal is convergent or not. So to check that, I need to do the integration minus infinity to plus infinity modulus of x of t dt should be less than infinity. This is the condition for convergence, or it should be absolutely integrable. That is the condition for that. Now when you see this x of t, your x of t is e power minus at into u of t, and it is existing from 0 to infinity. So when you take this 0 to infinity, if you substitute it, automatically you will get a value which is less than this. So the given signal is convergent. This is the given signal is convergent. So which means that it is satisfying this condition. I'll show you how it is satisfying that. You know, u of t, you can write the condition for u of t which is equal to 1 for t greater than or equal to 0, and it is 0 for t less than 0. This is the condition for u of t. That means u of t is having a value 1 from 0 to infinity, and it is 0 from minus infinity to 0. So I can write this, and I can write the limits 0 to infinity e power minus at dt. Since my u of t is 1 for 0 to infinity. So when you do this integration, e power minus at by minus a, if you apply the limits 0 to infinity, e power minus infinity, which is 0, and e power 0, which is 1, which means that you will get a value which is less than infinity. So hence I can say that the given problem is convergent. So for this, I can say the Fourier transform will exist. Since it is convergent, it is satisfying the condition which is less than infinity over the limits. I can say that you can find the Fourier transform for this easily. Now I am going to write the formula for the Fourier transform of x of t. Now I can write the Fourier transform of x of t as f of x of t, which is equal to capital X of omega, which is equal to integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t e power minus j omega t dt. Actually, omega you can write as 2 pi f, but here I am writing omega. Now, I'm going to substitute this. My x of omega equal to, that means the Fourier transform of x of t is x of omega, which is integral minus infinity to plus infinity. Now, what is x of t for us? Our x of t is e power minus at into u of t. So I need to substitute x of t as e power minus at into u of t. So here I can write e power minus at into u of t into e power minus j omega t dt. But we know the condition for u of t. U of t will exist only for t greater than or equal to 0, and it is 1. So, and the exponential function is also existing from 0 to infinity. So I can change the limits of this, and I can replace this. I can write 0 to infinity e power minus at. When I consider the limit 0 to infinity, this u of t, I can take it as 1. So no need to write it. Actually, I can write into 1 into e power minus j omega t dt. Now, if you solve this, integral 0 to infinity e power, since it is 1, here we have two exponentials. I can add those two exponentials and I can write it as a plus j omega t a plus j omega t dt. Now you know it looks like e power at. So this you can write e power minus of a plus j omega into t divided by minus of a plus j omega and over the limits 0 to infinity. When you apply plus infinity for t, then e power minus infinity, which is 0. And when you apply the lower limit, e power 0, which is 1. So finally, you will get 1 by a plus j omega. This is what the Fourier transform of this exponential signal. Please try to understand. This is what the Fourier transform of the exponential signal. Is it clear? Is this case is clear to all of you? Please post it in the chat box. Is this case is clear to all of you? Please post it in the chat box. Yes. Now, what I'll do is I'm going to consider the second case. Now I'm going to write this second case here in the same sheet. Now, what I'll do is just I'm going to draw a straight line here. I'm going to draw a line which covers all this. Okay, now here I'm going to consider case 2. Now for case 2, what I'll do is I'm going to write case 2 now. My second case is case 2 is I'm going to consider x of t. I'm going to consider x of t as e power at u of minus t. Please try to understand e power at u of minus t. And here again I'm going to consider the condition a greater than 0. Now if I ask you to plot the graph for this, the graph will looks like this. So please try to understand. For all the graphs, I'm using red color for your understanding purpose. Now, when you plot the graph for this, when it is, since it is, if you plot this, this is u of t on the positive side. U of minus t means here the meaning for this is, I can write u of minus t, which is equal to 1 for t less than or equal to 0. And it is 0 for t greater than 0. This is the condition. So that's what u of minus t is. So that means it will exist all the values. The function is existing from minus infinity to 0 and with an amplitude of 1, that is u of minus t. So you can write, if you plot the graph for this, when t equal to 0, this is u of minus t at t equal to 0, its amplitude is 1, e power 0, you know, which is 1. So I can say I will have a graph which will start like this and it falls like this. This is what the graph that I am going to get. Now this graph, which you can call it as e power at u of minus t. So please try to understand the difference between the graphs e power minus at u of t and e power at u of minus t. This graph, which you can call it as decaying exponential, this we call it as rising exponential. This we call it as rising exponential. So here, now when you see this, if I ask you to find the Fourier transform to this, now I'm going to use some other color. Now again, I need to write the same condition, but now I have to write the Fourier transform of x of t. The Fourier transform of x of t, which you can write it as x of omega, and which you can write integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t e power minus j omega t dt. But now your x of t is e power at. Now please see this. Your x of t at is e power at into u of minus t. So I can write integral minus infinity to plus infinity e power at u of minus t into e power minus j omega t dt. This is the second case. Now observe it, when you consider this case, now u of minus t is 1, which is existing from t less than 0, which means that in this integration, I can write minus infinity to 0, I have e power at. This is 1. This is 1. I can write this as 1 into e power minus j omega t dt. Now 0 to infinity, since for 0 to infinity it is 0, u of minus t is 0. When you multiply with anything, it is again 0, so no need to write it. So you can have the limits now. Integral minus infinity to 0 e power at into e power minus j omega t dt. Now if you solve this integration, minus infinity 0, I can write a minus j omega into t dt. When you solve all this, you will get the answer, which is 1 by a minus j omega. So please try to understand here. Here I can have two cases. In both the cases, the answers are not same. So I'll conclude here with some other color. So in case 1, I can write directly like this. The Fourier transform of e power minus at u of t, which is 1 by a plus j omega, and the Fourier transform of e power at u of minus t, which is 1 by a minus j omega. This is nothing but, this is case 1 and this is case 2. Now, is it clear? Now, please observe the difference. Here, this graph, which I can call it as decaying exponential, and this I can call it as rising exponential. So please try to understand the difference between decaying exponential and the rising exponential. Is it clear up to this? Is it clear? The two cases are clear to you now? Please post it in the chat box. If you face any difficulty, let me know. I'll repeat it once again. Do you want me to repeat, or is it clear? Please post it in the chat box. Is it clear? Everything is clear to all of you? Please post it in the chat box. Shall I proceed to the next case, third case? Yeah, Upanaya, shall I proceed to the next case? Vanilla? Yeah. Right. Now, I'm going to consider the third case. Now, observe it. I'm considering the case 3. Now the case 3 is I am considering my x of t as e power a mod t into u of t a greater than 0. Now please try to understand. Now you observe this, when you take modulus, I can write this as e power minus at into u of t for t greater than 0. If I write e power at u of minus t, t less than 0. So that means this modulus when you write, which you can call it, if you plot the graph for this, it looks like this. The case 3 graph is something like this. You have 0 and this is time axis. You will have an exponential falling like this on the positive side, and you will have an exponential falling like this. So this covers e power minus at u of t. Now this covers e power at u of minus t. This is what the equation for this. So when you consider it like this, which is nothing but the double-sided exponential, here for this, so for this, if you consider it like this I can call it as, this exponential I can call it as, this exponential I can call it as, this equation I can call it as double-sided exponential. Double-sided exponential. So that means, try to understand, that means it's a combination of both. We solved the case 1 and case 2. Already we know the Fourier transform for case 1 and case 2. You add it. That means I can write, when you take the Fourier transform for this, how it looks like, you can write Fourier transform of x of t, which is equal to x of omega, which you can write integral minus infinity to plus infinity x of t e power minus j omega t dt. So when you write this part, since x of t is e power minus a mod t, so it will exist both for both positive and negative t's. So I can write this, integral minus infinity to infinity e power minus a mod t e power minus j omega t dt. This I can write it like this. Integral minus infinity to plus 0. That means for the negative cycle, this modulus of t becomes negative. So minus of minus becomes plus. So I can write it as e power at into e power minus j omega t dt. This is for minus infinity to 0, and plus 0 to infinity, that is on positive side, your t is positive. This modulus of t becomes, since t is positive, modulus of t is also positive. So you can write e power minus at. So already we solved this. The answer for this is 1 by a minus j omega. And we solved for this also. The answer for this is 1 by a plus j omega. Now if you simplify this, then it becomes, you will get 2a by a square plus omega square. This is what the Fourier transform of e power minus a mod t. This is what the Fourier transform of this. So please try to understand how I solve this. Is it clear to all of you? Please post it in the chat box. Is this example clear to all of you? So please understand it. In the case of exponential, we have three conditions. We have three cases for exponential. Case one is decaying exponential, which is e power minus at into u of t, and we solve the Fourier transform to that, which is 1 by a plus j omega. And case two is decaying rising exponential, which you can write as e power at into u of minus t, and the Fourier transform of that is 1 by a minus j omega. And the third case is double-sided exponential case, which means that it's the combination of rising and double-sided exponential is nothing but the combination of rising and decaying exponentials. It is like this. So when you take this, the Fourier transform now becomes 2a by a square plus omega square. Is it clear up to now? Please post it in the chat box. I'll go to the another example, or shall I proceed to the next example? Please post it in the chat box. Yes. Yeah, good. Sri Lakshmi, good. Please post it in the chat box. Is the concept clear to all of you? Doubt ఏమైనా ఉందా ఇక్కడ దాకా చెప్పిన దాంట్లో? ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్. ప్రతిదీ నోట్ చేసుకుంటున్నారు కదమ్మా, స్లోగానే చెప్తున్నా కదా, టాపిక్ అర్థమవుతుందా, ఫాలో అవ్వగలుగుతున్నా లేదా? ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్. ఈజ్ ఇట్ క్లియర్ టు ఆల్ ఆఫ్ యూ? Is this example clear to all of you? Yeah, Amulya, okay. Shall I proceed to the next slide, next problem? Right. Now observe this question. Now here, please pay attentive. This is the next example, which is a very good example for us. Now, he has asked us to find the Fourier transform of signum function. When I say signum function, first this we already discussed in the signals in the first unit. I'll plot the graph for signum function. The signum function is defined as sgn of t, and which is equal to 1 for t greater than 0, and it is 0 for t equal to 0, and it is -1 for t less than 0. This is the condition for the signum function. So signum function is nothing but, for t greater than 0 means here you will get 0 to infinity, and t less than 0 means -infinity to 0, which is -1. So if I ask you to plot the graph for this signum function, it looks like this. You'll have 1, and you will have -1, and this -1 and this -1 at t equal to 0, it becomes cancelled, so that you'll have this value. So this is what the graph for the signum function. So that means it will exist on either side. Now, if I ask you to find the Fourier transform for this, again the same problem will happen. Now let us see what will happen if we consider the signum function. Again, we observe that it will when you apply this condition, and if you check the conditions 0 to infinity and -1 to infinity, again you will get the value which is this signum function is again, it becomes non-convergent. I'll show you why it is non-convergent. Now, suppose if you write the condition, observe it, 0 to infinity, your x of t is 1, right? And minus infinity to 0, again it is minus 1. Now, if you solve it, what will happen? This gives integral infinity, and this also will gives you infinity, and when it is minus, you will get again infinity, so that you will get the total limit, which is to infinity, which means that it is not absolutely integrable and non-convergent. So that means when I say it is non-convergent, you can directly say that the Fourier transform will not exist. Then simply can we left it like that? No, it is not like that. Then what we have to do is, now please try to understand. Here I'll use some trick. What is that trick that I'm going to apply is, instead of using this signum function, I will take an approximate function like this. I'm going to take it something like some exponential type of signal like this, which is close to this signum function on this side. And similarly, on this side also, I'm going to consider some exponential signal, something like this, which is rising exponential like this. And from this, I'm going to approximate it. So instead of writing 1, I can write the equation. I can write this equation for the signum function by a new function, by new function like this. So you can also write this signum function in terms of unit step function like this. So please try to understand. My signum function is nothing but u of t minus u of minus t. Is it right? Is this equation right or not? Please check it and tell me. Sgn of t, I can write it as u of t minus u of minus t. Is it right or not? Please post it in the chat box. Is this equation right? Please see the waveform and tell me. I think numerator does not having a. Please tell me, sir. Where Sri Lakshmi numerator does not have a? Please unmute yourself and tell me, Sri Lakshmi.
Hello, sir.
Here I think,
It's a
right?
previous answer.
Yeah, just please check the problem. Previous slide open చేసిన ఒకసారి చూడమ్మా. ఇక్కడ 2a ఉండదంటారా?
Yes, sir. ఏం ఉండదు అనుకుంటా.
కాదమ్మా, ఎల్సిఎం కట్టమ్మా. ఇక్కడ ఎల్సిఎం కట్టినప్పుడు జే ఒమేగా క్యాన్సిల్ అవుతుంది.
అవును సార్, a plus b into a minus b a square minus b square. సో అక్కడ కాంజుగేట్ మైనస్ j ఉంది కాబట్టి j స్క్వేర్ అంటే మైనస్ ఉండిద్ది, మైనస్ మైనస్ ప్లస్ అవుతుంది, a స్క్వేర్ ప్లస్ b ఒమేగా స్క్వేర్ డినామినేటర్ అవుతుంది. మరి న్యూమరేటర్
ఏ ఎలా వస్తుందమ్మా? ఎల్సిఎం కట్టినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందమ్మా? ఇక్కడ ఏమైనా జే ఒమేగాకి ఇక్కడ ఏమవుతుంది? న్యూమరేటర్ లో వచ్చేటప్పుడు ఏ ప్లస్ జే ఒమేగా అవుతుంది. దీనికి ఏమవుతుందమ్మా? ఏమైనా జే ఒమేగా.
ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
Right. Now observe this equation, signum function. This signum function is the combination of two unit step functions. Observe it. So this part I can write it as, u of t. And this part also I can write it as u of minus t. But I am taking this as minus since I am taking the mirror image. So minus of u. Now if we add these two, then that becomes signum function. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write this unit step function for this part, for the numerator part. But when you observe that it is convergent, what I'll do, I'll treat this as an exponential one, and I can write this as, now I'm going to write this equation u of t, this signum function, by a mathematical equation like this. So please try to understand my u of t. For this case, my u of t, I can write it like this. Please try to understand. That means since a signum function is a straight line, unit step function is a straight line, but when it is a DC, I observed that it is non-convergent, and you can't apply Fourier transform to this. So what I'll do is, I am going to take this exponential, this one, by an exponential signal, by taking it as an approximated signal, which is an exponential signal, and this u of t, I am going to write it like this. Please check it. Is it right or not? You please tell me. I'm going to write this u of t as limit a tends to infinity, sorry, a tends to 0, e power minus at u of t. Can I write it like this? Now what will happen? Let us see. If you see this a tends to 0, e power 0 is 1, so you will get u of t. That is nothing but this one. But instead of writing the actual unit step function, I am going to replace this unit step, the one which is represented with red color, with a green color equation. That is an exponential one I am writing like this, but I'm assuming that it is this a is tending to 0. When it is tending to 0, almost it becomes a DC signal like that. Is it clear? Is this part is clear? Please try to understand. Please post it in the chat box. ఇక్కడ నేను చెప్పింది అర్థమవుతుందో లేదో ఒకసారి చూడండి అమ్మా. ఇక్కడ యాక్చువల్గా ఈక్వేషన్ ఏంటి? SGN of t అంటే 1 t greater than 0, అంటే యూనిట్ స్టెప్ ఫంక్షన్ అవుతుంది. కానీ మనం అబ్జర్వ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏంటి, యూనిట్ స్టెప్ ఫంక్షన్ యొక్క కన్వర్జెన్స్ అవుతుందో లేదో చెక్ చేస్తే అది ఇన్ఫైనైట్ అవుతుంది. సో ఫోరియర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్ దీనికి అప్లై చేయలేము. ఫోరియర్ ట్రాన్స్ఫార్మ్ అప్లై చేయలేము కాబట్టి ఈ యూనిట్ స్టెప్ ఫంక్షన్ ఏం చేస్తున్నామంటే ఒక ఎక్స్పోనెన్షియల్ ఫంక్షన్ లాగా ఎజ్యూమ్ చేసుకుంటున్నాను. ఆ ఎక్స్పోనెన్షియల్ ఫంక్షన్ ఏం చేస్తున్నాను, ఆ ఈక్వేషన్ ఇలా రాస్తాను, e power minus at into u of t, అండ్ a is tending to 0 అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఇఫ్ a is tending to 0, వాట్ విల్ హ్యాపెన్? ఇదే సరిపోతుంది, యూనిట్ స్టెప్ ఫంక్షన్ అవుతుందా లేదా అమ్మా? ఒకసారి ఈ ఈక్వేషన్ గమనించండి. ప్లీజ్ పోస్ట్ ఇట్ ఇన్ ద చాట్ బాక్స్. ఈజ్ ఇట్ క్లియర్? అర్థమైందా లేదమ్మా? So similarly, u of minus t, I can write it as limit a tends to 0, e power at u of minus t. So already we know the Fourier transform of e power at u of t and e power at minus u of t. You subtract it. Since your signum function is subtraction, right? Now I can write the Fourier transform of SGN of t is equal to the Fourier transform of u of t minus u of minus t. That means here it's nothing but it's just here I applied the concept of linearity. I can write it as Fourier transform of u of t minus Fourier transform of u of minus t. So already u of t is this one. This is nothing but decaying exponential, and this is nothing but the rising exponential. Already we applied it. So before that we need to apply limit a tends to 0. So I can write limit a tends to 0. The Fourier transform of this, I can write it as Fourier transform of e power minus at into u of t minus Fourier transform of e power at into u of minus t. So I am applying limit a tends to 0, which is common for both the terms. Now for this the answer is, which we already solved in the previous example, which is nothing but limit a tends to 0. The answer for this is 1 by a plus j omega, and for this the answer is 1 by a minus j omega. Now if we solve this, if you solve it, and after applying the limits a tends to 0, So when you solve it, what will happen? You will get g minus j omega and minus j omega. I can say minus 2j omega by a square plus omega square. This is what limit a tends to 0. When you substitute limit a tends to 0, this becomes 0. So you will get minus 2j omega by omega square. This square and this omega gets cancelled. You will get minus 2j by omega. This is nothing but you multiply and divide with j, then it becomes 2 by j omega. This is what the Fourier transform of signum function, 2 by j omega. This is very important function, which is very useful to you. This is how you can find the Fourier transform of a signum function. So with this, I'm going to stop for today's class. Now what I'm doing